This report is sponsored by Discover. Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
Attention Tucson! We bring you every minute of Arizona men's basketball, both home and away, all season long. We are the home of the Arizona Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Okay, kids, we're home. Everybody out.
Ew, my feet are stuck.
In what, honey?
On the floor.
Ew. Take off your shoes. Tommy, come carry your sister into the house.
What do you do when the car you use the most has the least amount of time to get clean? Let Recon Auto Detailing, Arizona's premier auto detailing company, come to you and turn your busiest car back into your best. From basic cleaning to a full detail, Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
How wrestling really works and how you get the ratings. Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson explain on 83 Weeks.
I mean, I dig Jey Uso because he's born out of great storytelling and he lived up to the opportunity and exceeded it. The LA Knight, he's way up on my list because here's a guy that's been around for almost ever, should have probably quit a half a dozen times, and he just forced his way into their life. And now he's making money hand over fist. That is a story I love.
83 Weeks on YouTube or wherever you listen.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
1 second left. Looking for his 10th field goal from field goal 50-plus this year. Good snap. The hold is good. The kick is wide to the right. It's no good. And Seattle gets a 21-20 win over Arizona.
This is the end of the game.
And that was the end of the season for the Arizona Cardinals. Matt Prater does not miss very many field goals, but he missed two in the fourth quarter on Sunday of the Cardinals' 21-20 season-ending defeat to the Seattle Seahawks, ending their year with double-digit losses. And the Twitterverse, or whatever you want to call it now, the Xverse, went nuts with conspiracies about whether or not Matt Prater missed those two field goals on purpose, because had he made them, it might have affected the Cardinals' draft position for this upcoming NFL draft in April. I mean, you should have seen it. My mind was boggled reading some of the things that were on social media. But there's an interesting question that we have to ask surrounding that. Because let's face it, the National Football League is a billion-dollar business. And there's a lot of money in those billions that flow to these teams. There's a lot of decisions that have to be made on the course of these franchises, especially teams that are not going to be in the playoffs like the Arizona Cardinals, about what their future holds. There is nothing more important in the National Football League than draft positioning, because that is the number one way that you get players to improve your franchise. So I get it. It makes somewhat sense. Like, when you look at the National Football League as a business, was making that kick at the end of the game and winning that game for the Arizona Cardinals good business? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. If you're an athlete, you go out there, you compete, you want to win. Every time that you go out there to compete, but was it good business to win that game for the Arizona Cardinals? And instead of picking fourth and getting a franchise-changing player like many are speculating the Cardinals will get in a wide receiver like Marvin Harrison out of Ohio State, now you win that game, you drop down to maybe fifth. Who knows? Maybe you would have even dropped down to sixth. And now the assets that you're looking at to improve your franchise are even less. So that's our question of the day today. Our question of the day: do you really believe that Matt Prater missed those field goals on Sunday on purpose in order to maintain the Bird Gang's draft position at number 4? Head on over to our Twitter page right now at Wildcats Radio 1290, at Wildcats 1290, I should say, no radio, just at Wildcats 1290. You can vote in our Twitter poll right now. Early results just in. We just opened the poll about a half an hour ago. Early results, 56% say yes, they do believe that Matt Prater missed those field goals on purpose to make sure that the Bird Gang's draft position did not falter. He had made, I think he went 2 for 4 in the game. So he'd only missed 3 field goals all season out of 31. He was 29 of 31, or 20, I'm sorry. He finished 28 of 34 on the season. So he was 28 of 32 going into those 2 kicks at the end. That's a pretty good season for a place kicker in the National Football League. But he missed the last 2. You can also comment on our poll there at Wildcats 1290. You can also head on over to Facebook and vote there at Wildcats Radio 1290. We are streaming this show on both of those platforms by way of video. We are also streaming this show on YouTube as well as Twitch. You can head on over to those. J-Dub joins me. J-Dub.
To my knowledge, DK, I don't think there's an official rule in the NFL as far as throwing games. Tanking's big in the NBA, right? Because it's an 82-game season. You hear about that a lot. But in the NFL, it's such a short season. Every play matters.
Yeah.
The issue, though, is because gambling has become so prevalent, mainstream, you got to look at the line, okay? And in that line, Arizona was -1.5. They lose by 1 point. So the issue here becomes the legality of defrauding gamblers, right? Because it's not just a simple matter of trying to get a better draft pick for the Cardinals. If you're talking about manipulating the outcome of a game because the bets close before a game starts as far as the over-under and the actual line, that's, I think, a bigger issue that they'll have to be looking into, because if rumors come about, oh, well, maybe he got a call from on high that he's not supposed to make those kicks, that's one thing for your draft picks. It's another thing altogether if you're talking about however many millions of dollars are bet on these games and that kind of thing going forward.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I see your point there. I don't know that. I'm not sure the team, though, is thinking a lot about that. I get where you're coming from in terms of the fans and everyone that's watching football. I'm not sure that Monty Austinforth and company are up there wondering, I wonder how many gamblers are going to lose money on this game if we tell Matt Prater to go out there and then, look, bro, just don't make these kicks. Yeah, we're where we want to be going into this. You've had a great season. We're going to bonus you, whatever. Oh, gosh, I can't imagine if those – it's mind-boggling to think if those types of conversations actually happen.
Yeah, I know exactly what the front office was thinking. They're thinking we got to need to get a better draft pick. The question, though, becomes as far as what the law thinks. And that's what I'm saying. Not what they were thinking, but what the actual law is involving manipulating the outcome of a sporting event to defraud gamblers. And so if there is a case that gets put forth, that would be the reasoning why, right? Because you're talking about the people who are in the stadium to watch the game, and they bought those tickets for good money, and they're expecting to have two teams have an even playing field with the refs, calling the game above board and everything else involved in a sporting event. When it comes to missing kicks at the end of the game, fourth quarter and at the end, that could potentially have changed the outcome of the game for the draft pick for the Cardinals, but it also would have affected the outcome of the betting line as well. So if it does come out that there was some decision to be made, if that information is out there, and that becomes a legal issue is all I'm saying.
Good thing I didn't bet on that one at the Desert Diamond Casino Sportsbook on Sunday. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290 is the number. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. I've got, we started NFL. I wore my NFL colors. My Browns are in the postseason for just the second time since the third time since 1999 when they came back. And they will, of course, play on Saturday. I won't get to really cheer like I want to cheer because I'll be here with J-Dub and Kelvin as we get you set for Arizona Wildcats basketball on Saturday. I knew that was going to happen. They just don't want with it. The NFL has no intention of making me happy and letting me watch my favorite team play in the playoffs, but that's okay because we'll win this game and I'll get to watch them next week on a Sunday.
Now, are you the kind of person that could go blackout style and just record it and send a text to all your friends, do not tell me the outcome, and then go home and watch it as if you're watching it live?
It's interesting you said that because we're going to be interviewing, we're going to be chatting with Matt Reynoldsson here coming up shortly. He is the new sports director over at KVOA News 4 Tucson, my former house, and he replaces Paul Sakala. And Paul used to do that. He would say he would tape the USC games, and he would adamantly come in and say, "Don't tell me what happened. I don't want to know what happened. I've got it taping at home. Do not," because obviously we both went to USC. He's like, "Don't tell me what happened in the game," because I'm just absolutely not like that. I can't black out my entire day to go home and watch something that's already. Now I'll go home and watch it. Watch the replay just because I want to see what happened, but I'm not going to just try to escape the information for 5 or 6 hours. But Paul used to do that all the time.
I've never done it intentionally, but I also will tell you I've never missed an Arizona men's basketball game, outside of potentially a few exhibitions or maybe some really early season stuff. But going back 40 years, I've seen them all. My cousin got married in March of 2005.
Okay.
So I sat at that wedding for 4 or 5 hours. Now, this was in Las Vegas, so nobody really cared. But then I came home and watched, not knowing the outcome, the Illinois versus Arizona NCAA men's basketball tournament game. The famous comeback by the Illini. Watched it 5 hours, DK, after the fact.
Oh, wow.
Because I was at a wedding of my cousins and not knowing because this was early, I did not look up the answer. So that was the only time I've ever watched something after the fact. I don't think I would do it again. Pretty painful.
That's interesting. Wow. That's interesting. Let's bring in the third member of our program. Her name is Cricket. Cricket, so I'll ask you this question. We're just talking about events that maybe are something that you wanted to watch on television, whether it could have been a sporting event, maybe it was a TV show or something where you weren't going to be able to watch it live, and you didn't want to know the outcome so you could watch it later. Are you that person that does that you'll try to escape knowledge of what has happened, especially living out here on the on the West Coast, where especially a lot of these reality TV shows we talk about where the ending, they know it in New York before we know it here. And so if you're on social media, you got to kind of be careful what you're looking for, because the answer to what happened tonight on The Bachelor might just pop up and you might know the ending before you watch it. Are you that person that tries to escape the information so you can watch it and find out what happens in real time on your own?
I definitely try to avoid spoilers if I can. I follow some groups about reality shows I like, so I will not, I don't want to go there until I watch that episode, and then I want to go talk trash about people. You know what I mean? Then I want to go to the group and talk about it. But I definitely try to avoid that.
Also, like the Westminster Dog Show. So, like, if that's on live when she's got to work, then if Bubbles is going to win, she doesn't want to make sure nobody tells her the outcome before she goes and watches it.
Yeah.
Are you into dog shows? Do you like that kind of thing?
I like to watch, maybe not exactly the well, I guess it's all a show, but I like the agility, like the sport, the dog sport side of like dog shows.
Right.
And maybe not like the
where they're
fluffy,
jumping
pretty,
over stuff
yeah,
and that kind
like,
of thing.
Yeah, like fly ball and stuff. I think that's kind of exciting.
There's a lot of tubes they have to run through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about like getting involved in that at all? Like training dogs to do that?
Me and my dog do some training like that, but I don't have like the time or the money to travel to all those, competitions and stuff.
But we're not paying you enough here? Is that what you're saying?
Do you know how much gas is? Still expensive. So yeah, it's pretty expensive, to travel and miss time at work. And
would you though? Like if you had an opportunity to stand there with the national TV audience on you and
with my dog,
yeah.
I think that would go fine. But for some reason, I think my dog would bark at a hotel.
Ooh.
Like I think he'd be like, and I wouldn't want to do that at all. So I don't. Yeah, I think he'd probably bark. I don't know. I don't want to really find out.
Yeah, and you mean disturb everyone else around you?
Yes,
kind of thing.
right.
All right.
And I would not want to do that.
Have you flown with your pet?
No.
No. Okay.
Did you ever see Best in Show, the mockumentary
Yes.
movie? Oh, so good. I love that because I feel like it's exaggerated caricatures of like what the dog owners really would be like, but they've kind of nailed a lot of those personalities.
I think it's
so
100% spot on.
Yeah, it's like same people did Spinal Tap in those other movies, Eugene Levy and Christopher Guest and so forth.
He's so good.
All right, so what's the last show you avoided watching so you could watch it later?
Below Deck.
Below Deck. Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, Below Deck is your show.
Yeah.
Exactly. Is that on now?
I also tried to avoid the Golden Bachelor, but I lost interest in that.
Oh, really?
Like I didn't make it to the end, and I was just like, I'll just
So
Google
you didn't
it
watch
later.
The Wedding last week
No,
or whatever?
I didn't.
No, my
No.
wife taped it, and so she's like, I taped it and saved it for you so you
Like,
can watch
yay.
it. I have not done that yet, but I was reading not necessarily spoilers, but just some of the comments of things that happened. Like I guess the one guy from the last Bachelor with the long hair, Braden, proposed to his girlfriend at the wedding, and people were like, "Who goes to a wedding and proposes and gets engaged at somebody else's wedding?"
That's weird.
Exactly.
I think. I don't know.
I would think that's weird.
Yeah.
I would think that's weird. All right, Matt Reynoldsson is going to join us from News 4 Tucson. We'll talk to the new sports guy in Tucson, get his thoughts on being here, where he's from, how he got here, all that good stuff. But before we do that, cricket's got to get you home on the 20s, every 20 minutes on the 5s, I should say, with your traffic and your weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Some slowdowns on eastbound Grant Road approaching Columbus, also westbound slowing on Valencia approaching Mission, and a collision clearing Valencia west of 12th Avenue. 34, the overnight low, sunny, 61 tomorrow, rain and wind on Thursday, and 53 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Mucinex Fast Max Kickstart.
Good job, guys!
You sound like you're feeling better, Coach.
Yep, took Mucinex Kickstart. Now I'm back in the game.
New Mucinex Kickstart, all-in-one and done relief with a morning jolt of instant cooling sensation. Buy now. Use as directed.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Your body has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. Call QC Kinetics. They can make it happen with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. The future pain treatments has arrived, and QC has tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over the country, people with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or an injury. This is not a Band-Aid. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again, get your life back, and listen, it's non-surgical. If this is the year you decide to fight back against that pain, take the first step now. Call QC Kinetics. 2 locations off of Academy and off of Orange Grove. Call QC Kinetics 520-497-4955. 520-497-4955. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. QC Kinetics. Call them now.
Remember, if you listen to the Jim Rome Show, you were listening to 1290.
It's all on the up and up. It's all straight, and that's how that is.
Tucson's home of the Jim Rome Show. He's also your home of the NFL. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, this is Tim Couch, retired NFL quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, partner at Meridian Wealth Management, and proud member of Meridian's Tucson Advisory Business Council. It's my favorite time of year, college football season. I've always been a proud Wildcat. As our firm has grown in Tucson with Ruben and Natalie Fernandez, I now cheer on 2 Wildcats every year. My alma mater of Kentucky, of course, and our U of A Cats. Here's to a great football season, and go Cats.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is getting cooler here, and so rodents will be seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? Call University Termite and Pest Control, 886-4146. They've been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control. You can too. Call University Termite and Pest Control today at 886-4146 or go to BePestFree.com.
Well, it's the first part of a new year, and some people are coming up with some pretty interesting New Year's resolutions.
I'm taking karate classes.
Hey, wait just a minute.
Let's get something really stupid tattooed on our butt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why not make your New Year's resolution to always save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products? At Tobacco Barn, you'll not only save up to 40%, but there's also no city or state sales tax at Tobacco Barn because they're on the reservation.
I'm getting married to the first girl I meet. Hey there, sweetheart.
And you can save up to another $3 with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Let's try parachuting. Geronimo!
So save up to 40%, save with no city or state sales tax, and save up to another $3 with the coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com. But maybe skip the skydiving. Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia. Check TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
License to 40693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No. Call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't. Because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app. Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
He's kind and he's funny and he's also mustachioed. He solves all your problems by the end of every episode. TV Dad. Everyone loves TV Dad. TV Dad. Unlike your real dad, he never hollers. And he tells you how Progressive can save you lots of dollars.
Listen to your TV Dad. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program today. We love when we can have guests in studio, and we have one today joined by Matt Reynoldson, the new sports director from News 4 Tucson, KVOA, joining us. Matt, you've been in town now for about, 4 or 5 months?
3 months. It's felt like 4 or 5 months because a couple of weeks in, I was covering a World Series in Phoenix. Just an unbelievable start to my tenure.
You came at the right time, man. You got the World Series with the Diamondbacks. You got the first really good football season we've had around here in eons. You must have foresaw this was going to happen here, right?
I like to say I caused it. The Cats are 7-0 in football since I got to Tucson, and I like to flex that a little bit. The basketball team was undefeated, too, for a while, and so I got to about 12 or 13-0 before the men's basketball team finally lost a game. So I had a nice little streak there to start my tenure in Tucson.
Now, you came here from Green Bay. You spent 3 years in Green Bay. A lot of people would ask, obviously, Green Bay is a slightly larger market. Why come back down to a smaller market?
Well, it's, the weather. But,
Not a difficult decision there.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned my predecessor, Paul Sakala, last segment, and the opportunity to step in for the legacy that he built at KVOA and that you also helped build at KVOA. It was, an opportunity I certainly couldn't pass up on. And, I loved Green Bay and loved the relationships there, but this is a little bit closer to family. I have some family in the Phoenix and Scottsdale area. My parents like to visit down here. They're actually visiting this weekend. So it's just nice to have a place where that feels a little bit more like home, because I grew up visiting here, visiting Arizona and even Southern Arizona growing up quite a bit. And it always felt like a second home to me. So always moving closer towards that feeling of home and establishing a new home base, I think, is part of what motivates a lot of people to move.
See, Kathy Batby loves you because you got family in Phoenix, so she can send you up to all those games and she doesn't have to pay for you to stay in a hotel, right?
Exactly. Just the extra gas to get up to Scottsdale at a certain time of day, right?
Exactly. So you were originally, though, from Lincoln, Nebraska, correct? Grew up in a college town. So
I did.
So that I'm sure that whole dynamic of college town atmosphere, big-time college sports was also attractive for you.
Absolutely. And it really speaks to not just my experience, but my passion. I love towns that love college sports, because in Nebraska, it's not just Lincoln and it's not just Omaha. The entire state shuts down on college football Saturdays. Memorial Stadium in Lincoln becomes the third largest city in Nebraska. And it's just a great example for, I think, fan passion everywhere around the country. So I think that's one of the most fun things about, seeing that extrapolated everywhere and seeing that really extrapolated here in Tucson as well, with this winning streak the Wildcats football team is on, because, we know basketball kind of runs the show here in Southern Arizona, but the football team being good, Adia Barnes mentioned it to me last week or a couple weeks ago, that football rises all tides at the university. So if they can keep that momentum going, that's certainly going to be exciting for both fans and for us as media as well.
Matt Reynoldson is the news sports director at News 4 Tucson KVOA. He's our guest here. It's interesting. I'll give you my Lincoln, Nebraska story. I lived in Denver when I was growing up for a short period of time, and my mom and I moved to Lansing, Michigan. And I remember we drove from Denver to Michigan, and we stopped in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I just remember getting out of the car. I was probably in 5th grade, I think. I was in 6th grade. And I remember getting out of the car, and I'd never been to Nebraska before. And we walked into this store, and everything was red. And I'm like, Mom, everything is red here. Like this Lincoln, Nebraska, University of Nebraska. It's like everywhere you looked in the store, it was red. And that was like I think that's the first time, because at that age, 6th grade, I knew about most of the teams I followed. I'd lived in Los Angeles, so I knew about USC and UCLA. I'm from Ohio. I knew about Ohio State, but I knew nothing about Lincoln, Nebraska, or University of Nebraska Huskers. And I'm just remembering that was my first inclination. I was like, everything is red.
A former football coach said this about the state's love for Nebraska football. He said there's an unhealthy obsession with this football team around the state. You know what? I reflect that as well. Grew up a fan, was able to put it aside for 4 years while I covered the team, 2 with a near full-time internship in college. And then I started my career at the ABC station in Lincoln. But the moment I left for Green Bay, it was right back to diehard Big Red fan. So it's kind of fun to be a part of as well. And it's so ingrained in the culture there. And like you mentioned last segment, I know some people that do record Nebraska football games when they have other things going on. They block everything out and they say, I'm going to watch the game and don't tell me anything that happened. I could never be that. I follow it too closely.
So then you go from where everything is red to where everything is green and gold.
And cheesy.
In Green Bay, Wisconsin. What was that like, kind of being in that NFL, ultra NFL type environment?
Yeah, you know what? It was a really easy transition because of what I came from. And Green Bay acts like obviously it's in the centerpiece of the NFL world because it's one of the top 5 brands in the NFL, and I would contend even one of the top 10 brands overall in American sports, because you have so many Packer fans from around the world, because people who have never even been to Green Bay, have never visited the city or even the state nonetheless, have just this sort of hometown feel and hometown connection to the way the Packers were brought up. It's owned by the fans. They like to say they have 400,000 owners, and they sell to shareholders now in the 2000s, 2010s, 2020s as sort of a figurehead piece. You pay the $300 or whatever it is, or the $100, and you get a certificate that says you're a Packers owner. You can frame it and you can put it up on your wall. It's more of a symbolic thing, but it really does capture the character of the franchise, that it is owned by the fans, and it's owned and run by this board of directors as opposed to one single owner. And I think a lot of people, not just around the country, but around the world, as you've seen from when they play in London and things like that, identify with that fans owning the team mentality and the history of the franchise being over 100 years old.
Who was the 3 years you spent there? Was there one iconic Packer that you interviewed that you were like, man, that was really cool?
I think one of my favorite interviews, and I did this pretty consistently, was Donald Driver. He is one of the people that really just truly represents the brand of the Packers, and he's so front-facing and so public. So both him and Jordy Nelson were available at a lot of events I went to that were outside of that Packers realm. And being able to interview them and talk to them and have these people from nowhere near Wisconsin, that grew up nowhere near Wisconsin, have just ingratiated their entire lives around this culture of the Packers. And I think that's really cool to see, that you could have no connection to Wisconsin, you could have no connection to Green Bay or Northeast Wisconsin, but once you're involved in this franchise, it's part of you forever, which I think is really cool.
We're joined by Matt Reynoldsson, the new sports director at News 4 Tucson KVOA. He's been here for a few months now, getting his feet wet here in Tucson. So what is the thing about this city that's kind of stood out to you so far in your initial months here?
Outside of the east-west traffic, which I think we all complain about, I think the striking beauty of the city is so just underrated overall. I mean, I'm such an outdoors person. I've probably been on a dozen hikes in less than 3 months here, and I just love, I've got to make a conscious effort to keep my camera phone away when I go on these hikes and these nature walks. And even when I'm driving down Broadway, when it's getting close to rush hour, if I'm at a stoplight, I want to just take a picture of the sunset coming over the West Mountains. It's just striking beauty. And I think it's really interesting to see. It's a lot like Lincoln in the sense that there is a city there's a prosperous city outside just the university, but the university itself is prosperous. Tucson's quite a bit bigger than Lincoln, probably double the size. The metro is probably triple the size, but just seeing that and knowing the familiarity of, okay, the sports interest centers around what's going on with the university athletics, but there's this prosperous city around it and all these wonderful restaurants, and Tucson being a gastronomy city as well. I think all that culture just sort of comes together to a beautiful area and a beautiful place to live.
So you got here and you start this new position. What's kind of your philosophy of how you want to lead a department? Because I'd imagine you probably weren't doing that in Green Bay. I would imagine, were you the sports director in Lincoln before you went to Green Bay? Or
Nope, I wasn't. So I was a number 3 in Lincoln. So I was a sports reporter in Lincoln. I was a weekend sports anchor, so a number 2 sports person in Green Bay. Did run a lot of operations there, but didn't have the title or the number 1 position. And so this is my first sports director job. And what I really wanted to do coming in was create a philosophy and a culture, not just within the department, but within the newsroom of, I will help anybody with anything if it's going to make the overall product better. I'm 28 and single. I don't have any time that needs to necessarily be spent in other ways. I'm not taking away from personal time. I'm not taking away from family time being at work. So if I can spend that amount of time and that amount of energy helping people that I work with, then they're not just their work, but their lives become more prosperous, and it makes everybody want to be there a little bit more. So I just like to kind of bring that positivity to a newsroom, to that environment, and prop up someone that doesn't even really need to be propped up because she's such a superstar. Jenna Fink, our sports anchor, is incredible and does an incredible job. But I think some of the most rewarding things that I've done so far is give her the opportunity to shine, because she spent a month and a half before I got here doing it all completely by herself. And I know that's an absolute bear on anybody in a department. And so for me to come in here.
It was pretty impressive, let me tell you. I was like, I would have run and hide if I had to do Friday Football Fever by myself for almost an entire season, because that show is one monstrosity. And I was like, man, she never cracked that entire time. I was really impressed by that. Impressed by that. So, and then you get in, and obviously that's the franchise there. Yeah. Friday Football Fever. What did you have to quickly learn about that and being out there and being able to present that in a way that was gonna continue the legacy of it?
You know, DK, to be honest with you, the first thing I had to learn was how far everything was from the station.
Exactly.
You know, you can't just buzz down to Micah Mountain and get back in a good amount of time if you're staying to mid-third quarter. So, you know, I think that was one of the biggest challenges of it. But, you know, I really did lean on Jenna throughout the entirety of the high school football season, and watching Canyon Del Oro's run. And we saw Dustin Peace step down earlier today as head football coach there, and just went out before this.
You're breaking news to me. I've been in a cave all day. Wow.
Went out before this and interviewed him, so he had some great things to say, and obviously he's touched a lot of lives and a lot of great football players coming through that program. But watching their run this year, watching Sal Point continue its success, and all of our great teams, Sabino winning a state championship, I was up there for that at Mountain View and Mesa, and just being able to have all those experiences, and even jumping in midway through the high school football season, because you didn't get all the background from the heat of August and in the training camp and everything like that. But being able to jump in mid-season and still pick up on some of those stories, I love high school football, and that was so rewarding to me.
Matt Reynoldson is joining us. He is the sports director at News 4 Tucson. We're going to continue our chat with him. If you want to talk to Matt and find out if you've got a question for him about the way that he's doing his job now over at News 4 Tucson, hop on 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Want to make sure, though, that we get you home as safely as we can. Your traffic and weather every 20 minutes comes from Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. With reported collisions, Grant and Park Avenue and Grant Road, Thornydale and Costco Drive, also clearing Valencia west of 12th Avenue, and also some busy traffic, some slowing on eastbound Grant Road approaching Columbus. Weather-wise, overnight low at 34, sunny 64 tomorrow, wind and rain on Thursday, and 53 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance is making it easy to save money. When you bundle your auto policy with home, condo, or renters, you'll earn a multi-policy discount. Easy to bundle, easy to save. Visit Progressive.com. That's Progressive.com.
You know, there are times when you just want a new truck and times when you just need a new truck. So if either of those times are right now, O'Reilly has the time for you.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Cactus RV and Marine. Visit their original location on Romero north of Prince during I-10 construction or cactusrv.com.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
License to 40693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
Saguaro Harley-Davidson wants your bike. Call or visit our website to schedule an appointment or stop by today to receive an inspection and an offer. Whether you're looking to trade in or trade up or just looking for some extra money, we are prepared to make you a tempting offer. Don't deal with the hassle of selling it to a stranger. We're here to make the process quick and easy. Only at Saguaro Harley-Davidson or online at saguaroharley.com. That's saguaroharley.com. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, it's Floyd, the family man with the family plan. Outdated HVAC systems will drive up your electric bill, drain your wallet, and peace of mind. Save now at Goodfellas with no payments or interest till 2024. Got a 30% federal tax credit, up to $2,000 off qualifying heat pumps. Trust Goodfellas. We're locally owned with thousands of 5-star reviews. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas. Visit us at goodfellasac.com to schedule a no-cost estimate.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in Southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, we are back here and chatting with the new sports director at News 4 Tucson KVOA. Matt Reynoldson is our guest. He is out of Lincoln, Nebraska by way of Green Bay, Wisconsin, now here in Tucson, which is interesting, though, Matt, you are a diehard Phoenix Suns fan.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, it came about in 2004. You know, I started watching the 7 seconds or less Suns when I was going to games with my uncle and, you know, seeing Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, all under the Mike D'Antoni umbrella. And, you know, I fell in love with the team, and I always had a connection to Arizona and Phoenix from visiting here so often. And so being Nebraska only, everything growing up, because I didn't have a pro football team. You know, we had a casual fandom for the Kansas City Royals for baseball, but really nothing else. And so the team that I latched onto as an 8 or 9-year-old, 9 or 10-year-old, was the Phoenix Suns.
Wow. And so then obviously you were working in Wisconsin during the finals in 21.
That was a rough one for me. That was a rough one. You go on air and you call highlights of your favorite team losing 4 straight games in the NBA Finals to the team you cover. I feel like I'm objective enough now to cover anything if I covered that with fervor and interest.
All right, so then as a Suns fan, but now out here and being someone that's obviously going to cover that program as well, just what are your thoughts on what you're seeing through this first initial phase of this new Big Three with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker?
Yeah, it's been a rough start, right? Especially because they had, until Bradley Beal came back from this latest ankle injury, they had played a combined total of 24 minutes together the entire season. That's one half of basketball, which is insane for players that you have that much money invested in. And I know that a lot of people were looking at the Bradley Beal trade and saying, well, you know, we don't, have the money for this, or don't have we're sacrificing depth pieces for this. Well, when you look at the Chris Paul deal, and when you look at the Chris Paul being the trade, him ending up being released, everything like that, the most they could have signed anybody for in that spot was a mid-level exception guy. And I think to most people, Bradley Beal is a little bit better than a mid-level exception type player in the NBA. Now, they need to get the depth pieces to work out together a little bit better. The defense has been an eyesore for most of the year, but it's January. The NBA teams don't make their money in January; they make it in April. And if the Suns can get out of that play-in spot, get into a 5 or 6, I think they could make a little noise in the playoffs.
What is your initial phase in learning all about what drives this community, and that's Arizona basketball? Like when you first got here, what were the first things you felt like you needed to understand about it to be able to cover it?
That was one of my most things I was most excited for, was covering my first game at McHale and having the crowd surround you in an arena that's not as big as some other ones around the country, but it feels like it engulfs you. It's an incredible energy there. And I think the first time I really noticed the sheer volume of it was that Wisconsin game.
Yeah.
You could feel the energy behind that Wisconsin game, because most people here were here for 2014 and 2015 and seeing the heartbreak from the Badgers in the NCAA tournament and seeing the U of A come out and just blast Wisconsin and prove that Arizona this year had the depth, the balance in the starting lineup, and the superstar caliber players to be one of the best teams in the country. I think that it's cool to see a fan base affirmed to what a team knows it is.
And one of the things, obviously, I've been in this business a long time, and one of the things that I've always tried to do when I go into press conference situations is get a good answer out of the person that you're interviewing. And it's not necessarily, obviously working in radio and TV, you want that good soundbite, whatever that is, but you want it to come off a good question, not just something that's going to maybe get underneath the coach's skin. You got that good answer last week when you went in and asked Tommy Lloyd about the defensive philosophies and the drills and all that. I was like, because I used to always have this when I first started in TV. I used to have a segment I called the number one bite of the week. That definitely would have been the number one bite of the week last week.
Yeah, and you know what? I knew I needed to present it in a way, after the fact, of course, I knew I needed to present it in a way that, hey, I didn't ask the first part of this question the way I wanted to ask it, but you get a great soundbite out of it and still have an opportunity to clarify your original intention for the question afterwards. It kind of brings it full circle and makes, the whole thing worth it. Look, Tommy was a little contentious last week, and I am so glad he was, because that's the fire and the passion that he has for this job, this team, this program, this city, and it's what Arizona fans should really embrace and be proud of. Look, we've dealt with him so many times, obviously you much longer than I have, but he is one of the most, just a top-notch class stand-up guy, and just so nice to people, so warm and inviting. But, if somebody challenges, like if you're a parent and somebody challenges your kids, you're going to get a little bit feisty about it. Somebody challenged his program, reporters challenged his program and his defense, and something that he's built this program on, being tenacious on-ball defenders and really high-energy defenders off the ball. We challenged him on that last week after that Stanford loss, and he got fiery about it. This is what makes our jobs fun and important, because we don't have to just, throw out fluff and read the headlines. We can, challenge these coaches, and they can challenge us right back. And as long as it's fair and respectful,
right.
I think that's what makes media so fun to be a part of.
Holding their feet to the fire is definitely something that has to be done. And it's fun when you've got coaches that understand that, and they're, like you said, he was fiery last week, but he also wanted to make sure that his point got across about how he feels about it. Your background, did you play sports growing up?
I did, yeah. I played in high school. I played 3 sports: tennis, basketball, and soccer. Tennis was the one I played at the highest level. Realized as a scrawny 6th grader that with tennis being a fall sport in Nebraska, I realized as a scrawny 6th grader that football was not going to be a long-term play for me, but I could definitely watch it and obsess over it like I have. So played tennis at a pretty high level. Thought about maybe pursuing it in college. Glad I didn't. Glad I just went to D1 school and got the broadcasting opportunities I did, because it gave me that exposure to really great sports at a high level. And I was nowhere near the level of athlete that would have gone pro in anything, but just enjoyed playing for love of the game and had a little bit of competitive fire in me that still sometimes comes out when I'm playing board games with my nieces and nephews.
Well, I'll ask you this question, and it's a conversation we've had Jenna's boyfriend Gil on a couple times because he's obviously works for the Tennis Channel. Do you still follow it? And one, why do you think tennis is not risen to the level on the American men's side that we had in those glory years of the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, where we had men that could be world champions across the board? And we haven't had that since the early 2000s.
That's such a good question, and I think it's something that everybody involved in tennis media is really mulling over quite a bit. Gil would give you a better answer on it than I would, but I think it's sort of adjacent to what we're seeing in the NBA, is the ability to specialize from a young age overseas has given these individuals, given these athletes an opportunity to stand out in their own country and be put on a pedestal from a young age and get all of the coaching from around, say, Novak Djokovic, getting coaching from around Europe and cutting his teeth, in that way. Another young superstar in tennis, Carlos Alcaraz, getting the same thing in Spain and being able to come up in that culture and focus on that and dial into that. I think on the men's side, they have just taken kind of a different step than we have as far as that, and as far as, just the importance of tennis. They put that emphasis on the sport, and if they see talent at a young age, they develop that. Whereas here, we have a little bit more of an emphasis into multiple team sports, whether that's football, basketball, baseball. Obviously, around the world, soccer's the biggest sport. They call it football. Obviously, around the world, though, soccer's the biggest sport, and so a lot of great athletes are pushed into that. But if you're not, you can specialize in sports like tennis, and I think that's what we've seen from men overseas. However, though, on the women's side, we have just such a great tennis culture here in the U.S., and even when there's a woman from Europe on top of the tennis world, you just see the Americans right behind them, Coco Gauff being a great recent example, and obviously Serena Williams being the greatest women's tennis player of all time.
Yeah, and it's interesting from the standpoint that I think that it's just, I think that the specialization part that you were talking about, we kind of, as Americans, I think, want our kids involved in more than just one thing.
As they should be.
Yeah.
I think that's where I stand on that.
But maybe to the detriment of being able to breed high-level, competitive, world-class athletes.
Especially in individual sports.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting from that standpoint. Matt Reynoldston is our guest. He is the news sports director at News 4 Tucson. I understand you can sing a little bit, too.
I can. I will not be singing on the air today. But that's
sure? Because we like to sing here. We
that's
do
for
like
the next
to sing
appearance.
on this show, so feel free to belt something out if you'd like to.
Well, we'll take that for karaoke. I got to get a karaoke place in Tucson first before I put this on the airwaves.
Okay, but you sang choir growing up?
I did. Yep, I was in show choir, which is a singing and dancing ensemble for 3 years in high school and actually 4 years in college as well.
Wow.
Cool experience at Nebraska. It's called Big Red Singers, and we don't compete like we did at the high school level, but in college we did exhibitions and traveled all around the Midwest and hosted competitions and things like that. So met some very good friends doing that, and one of those friends will actually be on the next season of The Bachelor. I know you were mentioning that a couple segments ago.
Wow. You want to throw out maybe who that is?
Yeah, her name
You're
is...
already broken some news on this show today, so...
I'm not breaking any news. She's put it out there, but her name is Samantha Washington.
Okay.
She's from Nebraska, so she makes it really far in the show. You'll see her do a home visit back in Lincoln.
Jeez. All right. That's something to talk about right there. Speaking of The Bachelor, obviously there was a Bachelor. Aaron Rodgers' brother was on the show a number of years ago. You covered him with the Green Bay Packers. He's been in the news a lot lately. What was your experience with Aaron, covering him, your takeaways from him as an athlete and as a guy?
I think he's one of the most cerebral athletes I've ever been around. And it's so unique to cover him because, especially since he started during the time I was there, he started his appearances with Pat McAfee. That was not a thing before 2020, 2021, that era. And so he would do that every Tuesday. He would have his media availability every Wednesday. So he would get ahead of every topic on Tuesday. And then we would go in and ask him all these questions on Wednesday. And he sort of had a way of making you think you were overblowing things and making you believe it. So you're making too big a deal about this. And he would say it in a way that sort of warped things in a way that you walked away and said, why did I ever make a big deal about that? And then you pour some cold water on your face and you say, wait a second, I've been had. So that was one of the unique experiences with Aaron. But, I thought he was always fair to us in the local media, especially. He was, I wouldn't say necessarily chummy, but he, had legitimate relationships with the local media, would talk to us off camera, not about anything really of substance, but, just mess around with his guys in the locker room and, involve us in the conversations and things like that. From all the things you hear about Aaron Rodgers, it's clear to me, being close to him for 3 years, or being really 2 years because one was completely mired by a pandemic. He's a really good teammate, and it doesn't always come off that way in the media, but he goes a long way for his guys, and so much so that you see him trying to revive the careers of some guys that are probably well past their prime, as he brings them over to the Jets or brought them into Green Bay, and trying to use his personnel power to do that and get his guys extra shots. But, he has always been a great teammate, and, I've never heard anybody say anything to the contrary of that. And I think that kind of flies in the face sometimes of what is covered about Aaron Rodgers.
Interesting stuff there. Very good teammate. Somebody else once told me that before, that covered sports in Green Bay and believed that was the case with Aaron Rodgers, that his teammates really enjoy being around him and playing with him.
Yeah, they do. And they do Jordan Love as well. He's one of the best people I've ever talked to, and I'm so excited for just the success that he's had this year, because he's such a humble guy and waited his turn, down to earth. He and I have had real conversations, both with the camera on my shoulder and without it. And this success couldn't be happening to a better individual than Jordan Love.
All right, real quick before we let you go, what's the one thing you haven't covered here yet that you're most looking forward to covering?
I'm going to go a different direction with this. And I'm going to say the number one thing I haven't done here yet that I want to is eat at all these great restaurants. Give me restaurant recommendations. I want them all. I want to try them all. I'm a huge fan of food and different takes on food. So with this being a gastronomy city, and usually getting off work very late at night when most things are closed, I always just want recommendations. I'll go there on the weekends. I'll go there for lunch. Hit me with all of them because I want to try everything.
Okay, so I'll give you one. Dante's Fire on Grant. That's a spot that my wife and I really love. It's very casual, laid back. It's kind of just a cool little bar, but the food is just really awesome there.
Okay,
there you go.
I'll have to try that.
What's the best place you've tried so far?
El Charro is fantastic.
El Charro, yeah.
Yep, I got it for takeout after a hike at Sabino Canyon, and went home, and I think there was a game on or something that night, so just got it takeout, went home, ate the burrito or whatever I got, and it was extremely good, and just enjoyed it sitting on my couch.
Do you have a favorite sports bar yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, one I've been to was to watch a Nebraska football game back in November, one of the inexplicable games they lost this year. It was in Oro Valley on, I think it's on North Oracle.
Are they ever going to get that together?
You know what? They got a 5-star quarterback, number 1 quarterback in the nation coming to Nebraska this next year. So
there you go.
Hopefully he starts as a freshman.
Well, Trident 2 on Swan is a really good. They've got a great outdoor patio there. It's a really good place to watch sports. And then I'm really liking the new cold beer and cheeseburgers. On Oracle. That's a good spot. It's very spacious. They've got a lot of good TV. It's pretty brand new. So that's another good spot that I've found to watch sports.
I think I've been to one in Scottsdale actually.
Yes,
so.
They have. They're all over the valley. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them. Good stuff, Matt. Congratulations on the new gig. We're looking forward to continuing to watch you. You and Jenna are doing a fine job over there. And we'd love to have you back anytime.
Thanks so much. And thanks so much for laying a great foundation at KVOA. We are certainly enjoying being there.
All right. Matt Reynoldson, the new sports director at News 4 Tucson KVOA. Much more coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Dave Heeke will rejoin us for the first time in 2024. We'll get his thoughts on the Big Alamo Bowl win for Arizona football. You are listening to DK on the Sports Tip. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. With collisions reported Grant and Park Avenue and Grant Road with some westbound slowing, Thornydale and Costco Drive in Thornydale, and also Valencia west of 12th Avenue. And some slowing eastbound Grant approaching Columbus. 34 the overnight low, sunny, 61 tomorrow, rain and wind on Thursday, and 53 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE. That's Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
You know how we Wildcats love our games. And there's no place better, closer, or safer to game than Desert Diamond Casinos. Filled with hundreds of the newest, loosest slots, dozens of your favorite table games, and superior food and beverage options. Desert Diamond is the #1 destination for your free time fun festivities. Bear down for the best time in Tucson. Go to Desert Diamond Casinos. Go Cats!
As a homeowner, you've probably seen some pretty bad plumbing problems.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
We've seen them all.
All of them?
Rams Plumbing kept entire buildings flowing. Businesses since 1983.
Wow, so whatever happens to my house...
We've seen it before, and we have the solution. Locally owned and operated, Ram Plumbing is Tucson's most trusted plumber. Our team of licensed professionals can fix anything your home can dish out. When your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double. Online at bestplumbertucson.com.
1290 has earned the right to be named after the Arizona Wildcats. That's why you'll never see us skip leg day.
Haven't had a carb since 2004.
1290 is the home of the Wildcats. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead, make an appointment online, or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now man who has not one, but 3 first names. David Scott Kelly.
Can you hear me here? All right. Thanks to Matt Reynoldson for joining us here in that last hour of the show. He actually broke some news, at least news I was not aware of. I've kind of been in a cave working on our weekend NFL coverage, but apparently Dustin Peace has stepped down as the head football coach at Canyon Del Oro High School. I'm going to read you what was put on the CDO football Twitter page here. This was at 10 o'clock this morning. It says, Dorado football family, where has 22 years gone? I've been so honored to lead this program for the last 15 years. I've been gifted with so many amazing relationships and opportunities that I'm grateful for. I want to first thank my family for allowing me to have this opportunity to impact young men like my past coaches have impacted me. Without the stability and support of my wife, never could we give so much of ourselves to this program. Players, you are the reason I've been at CDO for 22 years of my life. Remember, you have been the reason we have had the success and tradition that we do. Staying united through this change will determine how the tradition continues. I will always be here to support you and look forward to what the new role could be for me. I've never been without football in my life, so who knows what this journey will be like. So I will need your support as well. Let me see if I can move on to the next page here. Coaches, I'm so grateful for your support and friendship. Thank you for the sacrifices you and your families have endured for the young men in this program. Be proud of the legacy we have created here at CDO. Moving forward, my number one priority is to be the best dad, husband, and friend I can be. I owe it to these people as they, too, have sacrificed along the way. I'm hoping that I can still have a role at CDO High School and with the football program supporting the next head coach, if that is in the cards. I also look forward to helping our community grow this sport in other ways. I will coach football again one day, and I hope it is at CDO. Thank you to everyone who has guided me along this journey. I hope this is not a goodbye, but more of see you soon departure. Go Dorados, Dustin Peace. So that was on the CDO football Twitter page this morning, a little bit before 10 o'clock. Dustin Peace, who won a state championship, has stepped down as the head coach at CDO. That is some shocking news there, for sure. He's a guy that's obviously been around the high school football scene ever since I started covering high school sports back here in 2011, which was shortly after he won the last state championship for that CDO program. Just a great guy to be around, to talk to cover. Always was very welcoming with his program. And when you wanted to come up and watch practice and talk to his players, just a very, very good guy in this football scene here in Southern Arizona. So it'll be interesting to see where the Dorados go with Dustin Peace having now stepped away as their head coach after winning the 4th state championship in CDO history. All right, if you want to talk about that, we can do that. 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I have not mentioned that we've got a shorter show today. It is Tuesday, and Adia Barnes will have her show that will begin at 5:30 from the Sands Club at Arizona Stadium. So head on over to that. They generally have a really big crowd there at the Sands Club. Derek Palmer will be there to host that show. That will come your way right here on Wildcats Radio 1290 beginning at 5:30. Dave Heeke is going to join us. And I'm hoping, I just reached out to Dustin Peace, we will have an opportunity to talk to him potentially later on, either in this hour or the next hour before we get to Adia Barnes at 5:30. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. We were talking in the first hour about the National Football League and the conspiracists out there who believe that Matt Prater actually missed the field goals on purpose this past Sunday as to not jeopardize the Cardinals' number 4 pick in the draft. We have a poll up on this right now on our Twitter page. Head on over to Wildcats1290. Wildcats1290 is the poll, or is the Twitter page to vote in the poll. If you believe that that actually happened, if you really believe that the kicker for the Arizona Cardinals missed 2 field goals late, including a game winner at the horn, so that his team could stay in the number 4 draft position. Right now, I think last time it was 56%. It has caught up to 64% of the people voting say yes, the NFL is a business, and winning that game for the Cardinals would have been bad business. What do you think? Give us a call on that as well, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. I just can't believe that if you're an athlete and you step on the field, that you're not doing everything possible to win a game. And if I was an athlete and I had a GM or a coach or an owner come up to me and say, look, we need you not to make this kick because if we win this game, we're going to be picking 6th instead of 4th, I'd walk out. I'd go out there. I'd make the kick. I'd walk into the locker room. I'd take my uniform off, and I don't think I'd ever put that uniform on again. I just, that boggles my mind that there are people out there that actually think, and again, I get the concept of it. Is it good for business? No. It's not good for business, the Cardinals winning that game. But if I'm an athlete, I'm doing everything I can to win that game.
I can understand devil's advocate, the situation. The other side being if you're on a 1-15 team and you're a highly competitive person, 1-15, you're going to get the number 1 pick anyway. But let's say hypothetically your season's been over for 5 weeks, right, in the NFL, and you really are a hyper-competitive person, and you know that winning would be easier with the star quarterback from USC or somebody to add to your roster. You got a big glaring hole in that roster. You're not the one, obviously, especially as a kicker, to make that decision. But just to play devil's advocate on that, I could see a competitive athlete understanding the landscape of having a better team on the field next year with a higher draft pick. But losing a game on purpose goes against everything that we know about athletes competing at the highest level. That's what it's supposed to be about anyway, DK. And I think in most sports you'll find it weeds out those people who maybe have ulterior motives. They want a big house, they want a fancy car. Maybe money is their motivation to get to the highest level. Well, guess what? After 2-3 seasons in any professional sports league, those are the guys who don't get big second contracts, right? Because you got to be in there first. You got to be the first in the gym. You got to work on your craft. I don't know. I think it's so hard without definitive from the horse's mouth, for lack of a better term. It's all speculation, right? As to whether or not he was instructed to miss, and that's what Twitter is for, is it not?
Right. Absolutely. Wouldn't have been me. I could not do that to my teammates.
DK, I want you to do a bad interview today because if you do, there's a good chance that we'll have a better revenue stream next week for the show.
Okay. No, I'll go work at another radio station. I'll go work at another radio station. All right. Couple of other NFL things. Obviously, the moves have started. Arthur Smith, we mentioned, is out. Ron Rivera is out. One of the questions is, will Antonio Pierce be in Las Vegas? They went 5-4 down the stretch. Is that enough? Is that enough for Antonio Pierce, Arizona football, to be the permanent head coach with the Las Vegas Raiders moving forward? Now, you remember I think they won their first 3 games. Then they had that bad stretch of 2 games. They got shut out. They scored no points against Minnesota and lost the game 3-0. And then they went, I think they went 2-1 down the stretch. Win, loss, win.
You know how in college, a lot of times it's like you want an Arizona guy in that spot. And that's the thinking, right? I mean, it's pretty clear that Coach Pierce grew up as a Raiders fan.
Yeah.
He grew up.
Well, he's a Los Angeles guy. He's like me. He grew up he was in L.A. during that Raider era.
Right. And that's what he's talked about a lot. And, he's talked about how he's always been a silver and black guy. So with his passion and clearly turning around that locker room, I think that was a big part of this, right? Because you hear all the players going to bat for him. Will the front office take those factors into account? The way I look at it is if he does not get that job, I think he's proven that he's a very good players coach at that level, if nothing else, right? I mean, he's a guy who did it at the highest level, has a Super Bowl ring to prove it, and can get the ears of a lot of guys who, make a lot of money. And sometimes when the season's going the wrong direction, DK, that's the biggest factor is can you get those players to really come around and buy into what you're preaching? And I think, despite that 3-0 loss, most of the results of the time he spent in that chair were positive.
We are going to talk to Dustin Peace coming up in this hour. We will talk to him in the next segment here. He's just gotten back to me, so we'll speak with the head coach of the the former head coach of the Canyondillo Dorados football program, who announced today that he is stepping down. 22 years with that school, leading them to the state championship this past year. Went up to Tempe and got that win in a very, very good ball game to win the first title since 2000 and I believe it was 10, if I'm not mistaken. 2009, 2010 was the last time that they won the title at Canyondillo High School. That was young in his head coaching career after Pat Nugent had left and he took over, and leaves as a state champion. 2 high schools here in Arizona and Southern Arizona won state titles this year. First time that had happened since the 70s. Canyon del Oro and Sabino both bringing home rings. It's going to be interesting to see who takes on that program. I mean, that was, again, they've had a lot of success there, but there were some years where, they didn't necessarily play at a high level. They're not maybe as dominant in terms of the teams like when Kadeem and those guys and Blake Martinez were coming through. They had a lot of athletes, and now there's more schools, and the talent gets a little bit more splintered, and occasionally you get that one class. It was kind of like Ironwood Ridge. Ironwood Ridge got that one class back in 2012 with Matt Johnson, and they were able to go to a state championship and win it. But it's much harder nowadays because of the amount of schools and the fact that kids can go to any school that they want now to sustain that kind of championship success on the high school level. We'll talk to Dustin about that as well. He'll be next here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions reported Nogales and Drexel and Nogales Highway, Rosemont and Grant Road, Country Club north of 22nd Street, also reported Nogales Highway and Hermans Road, Catalina Highway at milepost 9. 34 are overnight lows, 61 and sunny tomorrow, rain and wind on Thursday, and 52 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt Tax Services, home of the Money Today guarantee. Can't wait weeks for your tax refund? Then don't. At Jackson Hewitt, get money today if you're approved for a no-fee refund advance loan on a prepaid card. Book today at jacksonhewitt.com. No-fee refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Wildcats Radio is the one and only home of Jim Rome and CBS Sports Radio.
I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's nice. It's good.
Tucson knows the home of the jungle is also your home of the NFL. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
What do you mean, trenchless?
Means no trench.
But it's the sewer line.
And they did it without ruining my yard.
The yard we're standing in?
The very same.
I don't know if I trust that.
I trust that because I trust them.
Them?
Ram Plumbing. Locally owned and operated Ram Plumbing, offering a comprehensive range of plumbing services from fixtures to installation to trenchless sewer replacement. Turn to Tucson's most trusted plumber. When your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double. Online at bestplumbertucson.com.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
With tens of thousands of satisfied patients across America, it's no surprise QC Kinetics gets 5-star reviews.
I'm feeling on top of the world because of QC Kinetics.
I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
I can recommend them highly. I would recommend QC to anybody.
QC Kinetics has changed my life.
I couldn't believe it. I honestly was skeptical, but the pain went from a 10 to a 0.
Real people with real lasting relief from joint pain.
QC Kinetics Regenerative Medicine is regenerating me.
It was super successful, and I recommend everyone seek out QC Kinetics as an alternative to surgery.
This non-surgical approach is definitely the future.
I tell as many people as possible. I am an ambassador. I love QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in advanced regenerative medicine. No drugs, no surgery. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 520-497-4955. That's 520-497-4955. 520-497-4955.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Can't get enough of your Arizona Wildcats? Make sure to stop by Taco Bell in the spring for a meet and greet opportunity with some of your Arizona men's basketball players at Taco Bell. Pick up your favorite Taco Bell combo and live Moss with an autograph or photo from Kylan Boswell and Keyshawn Johnson. Taco Bell, locally owned and operated and proud partner of Arizona Athletics. Bear down and live Moss.
Wildcats fans from coast to coast can bring a little bit of Tucson to themselves wherever they happen to be by streaming 1290 on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale is on with limited quantity deals on top tech. Save on select PCs powered by the latest 12th gen Intel Core processors like thin and light XPS 13 laptops, Inspiron laptops, and 2-in-1s. Plus, get savings on select accessories, free shipping, and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Save today by calling 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
All right, 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Some big news today on the Tucson sports front. Dustin Peace has stepped down as the head football coach at Canyon Del Oro High School. Dustin Peace joins us now. Dustin, great afternoon to you. What went into this decision that you made today?
So it's been a decision I think has been coming for a while, but I want to thank you for having me on, and the whole community outreach today has been pretty overwhelming, and very grateful and honored for all of this. But I think a lot has gone through the decision, and it went better today than I expected it to. I expected to be crying and everything else, but we made it through.
When you look back on your career, I mean, 22 years at that school, when you first got there as a coach, what kind of coach were you?
Yeah, it'd be amazing. I wish we had phones and video back then, as old as I sound, now everything's documented. I got to watch the celebration after the state championship, this year. And if we had phones and all that back then, it would be amazing to see how the program has helped me become a better man too. And I think that's what a lot of coaches would say is the sport and teaching and being around kids is what really inspires you to be a better human, I think. And I think I've made a lot of growth in my life because of it.
I mean, and when you obviously we've talked, across your career, the impact that Pat Nugent had on you. You played for him. I guess what were some of the things that you took from him, and how he treated you as a coach player that you wanted to utilize to treat your young man?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty spot on. There was a major. Him and Coach John Kashner, who were my head coaches, and several other coaches, Coach Ryden, Pat Ryden, who's at South Point now, was our DC, and Coach Mendeville, who's the head coach at Amphi, was my own line coach when I was younger. And all those men I still keep in contact with. They're still always first and foremost my coach, but they're also my friends. And I think now I'm very excited. Even today, as I finally got to sit down right now, I'm reading through Twitter, and I saw Stevie Rocker post something. Jared Tevis just texted me, Chase Randall, Caden Sakiley, and it's just coming in, overwhelmingly. So it's very awesome to know that I've impacted them, and just like Coach Nugent has impacted me. And, he reached out to me today, too, and he's all, you finally did it. It's something we've kind of joked about. He's like, they still got me hooked. So, so anyhow, we did touch base today, and obviously a great influence from all those men. I'm grateful for them.
Dustin Peace is joining us. He has stepped down today as the head football coach at Canyon Del Oro High School. Did you meet with your team? Was it done like that? How did you let the players know?
Yeah, so it was pretty strategic, and it was actually pretty cool how it worked out, So at about 8 o'clock, I let kind of my JV staff, my freshman staff all know. At 8:30, the returning players came in, and I told them face-to-face, because that was what was most important to me, was, telling them face-to-face, answering questions, and that went as good as it could have went, and I let them know that I'm still going to be here for them and all that other stuff. And then at 8:45, I sent an email to the parents. At 9 o'clock, I put it on Twitter. So it was official, and it worked out real well. But I was just happy that I was able to tell the players face-to-face And they also know that I'm not going anywhere. You know, I'm still going to be training them through the spring, and that's always reassuring. It wasn't like I was exiting today.
Describe.
So, you know, we still have some time to do. Sorry.
Yeah, describe the. I guess I mean obviously this is a labor of love for you in coaching, but describe the toll that it takes on the family.
Yeah, you know, and I thank you for the opportunity to kind of elaborate on that. I think people think that coaching high school football or basketball or baseball is a job, and it's not a job. I mean, it's nothing more than a hobby, and it is exactly like you said, a labor of love where the expectations and the impact you have on people is tremendous. Whether that could be a great thing or a bad thing, it's something that you have to handle very delicately. So it takes a lot of toll out of your family and your life, you know, and my friends, and you know, I kind of put that all in my statement that everybody's kind of gets a back seat during the football season, and even in the off season, as much as we're doing all this stuff is. And again, it's all just for working with kids, you know. So every coach out there, I commend them, and I hope every parent hears this too. Is like, you know, because my kids are finally getting to the point where they're going to get coached by somebody eventually, and we all got to remember that we're all doing it at a hobby. We're not doing it at a profession. You know, we think it's a profession, but it's really a responsibility. But what's interesting, and I told my wife today, is I think it's a very underrated. You know, as far as I wish it could be a profession. I wish I could tell my kids, hey, go be a coach. But the reality is you can't be a coach until you have your other pieces of your life in order, and then you can coach. So I've been grateful to have that, you know, my family, that's my wife that, you know, puts us all through this, even my in-laws who take care of my kids when I got to be at other places. Like every coach in the city's got to line those things up, and it takes a strong foundational family to do that. So, grateful for that.
Now, and I know your boys are. I think they're kind of in that formative age, under 10, but older than 5, where they're kind of starting to get into athletics and playing. And I believe I've even seen you posted some pictures where you're coaching them on the weekends when you're not coaching your high school football team. Was that part of it too? You want to be able to be there for your boys as they begin their athletic careers?
Yeah, you know, they this year was the first year that they both really took on. They're 9 and 6, Diego and Dominic, and they both took on the. You know, one of my boys was getting a tee. You know, they were in the end zone playing football the whole time, and they finally got to see what it meant that their dad was the head coach, and I was real proud of that for them. And they're like, "Daddies, don't, you know, we want you to be the head coach," and they're asking me, "Can we still come to the games and all this stuff?" And I'm like, "I think they'll still let us on the games, buddy." But yeah, 100%. You know, not only just sports being there for them, but being there to send them off to school, being there to see what happens when they get off of school, being there to support them in all their endeavors, not just even athletics. But yeah, I mean, my next job is I'm going to be doing flag football this Sunday, you know, out at U of A with my son. So that's the next job I got so far, and I'm excited about that. And but yeah, it's the day-to-day stuff. I think also that we're going to embrace and really give me time to get all my attention there. Because, you know, during the football season, every coach is, yeah, you're home. You get home for dinner. You get home for whatever. But you're watching film before you go to bed. You're waking up early. You can't sleep. You know, it encompasses you for sure.
We're joined by the now former head coach of the Canyon del Oro Dorados, Dustin Peace. Dustin, there aren't a lot of guys that have their names on stadiums here in southern Arizona. There's Doherty Stadium over at South Point, Santa Cruz Stadium at Pueblo, you know, Jones Field at Mountain View, just to name a few, Friedley Field over at Amphi. Do you see yourself in that realm of being at that level?
I think if they're going to ever name the stadium at CDO High School, it's going to be named after Tommy Steele, who was a mentor of mine and who was an assistant coach over there for over 30 years. He definitely has one up on me and a lot of coaches around the city, and he deserves that for sure. But, those accolades are great. State championships are great. The greatest part about today and about what the future holds is when those players reach out to me, reached out to me today, like each one of those messages kind of hits home the hardest, the best, feels the best. Can't wait to just rekindle all those relationships because, when you're a head coach, I'm focusing so much on my team, but now I'll have an opportunity to focus on all the guys that have left the program and check in on them and help them as much as I can. Even if it's just a phone call or, hey, how are things going? I think that goes a long way because I know I've never forgot my head coaches in sports, and every time I see them, I still appreciate everything they've done for me, and I'm looking forward to connecting with my players in that way.
Now, you did say in the post that you do want to maybe coach again in the future. Do you have a timeline on when you might want to step back into it?
Yeah, who knows? Because I told the players, and another thing in my statement is, I'm going to need their help too because these are uncharted waters. Who knows? Everybody was, I got a couple texts from Coach Dobbins today. He's like, I'll give you 6 months before you're back. and we were joking back and forth. And I think a lot of people know that eventually I'll come back. But I think just like anything in life, you need to step away to see some perspective and then regroup and see what the future holds. But I'm sure I'll be coaching something somewhere. I've gone too far down this path to almost be anything else, my life, dedicated my entire life to CDO football, 22 years of my life, I'm 42, so that's over half my life. I've been doing that, and that's what I've been doing. So it'll be definitely a transition, but no timeline, but definitely need to see what that feels like, who I am without that for some time.
What's the first thing you want to do with your wife that you maybe wouldn't have been able to do because you were coaching high school football?
Oh, she always says, we have an RV. We have this beautiful RV, Class A 30-footer, and it gets put on the shelf for 6 months. So we can't wait for a fall break trip. Never in my life have I thought a fall break trip. So we're gonna have a fall break trip. So that'll be fun. And you're right. That you get to thinking about all the things that you don't get to do because football. We scheduled our marriage around football. There's so many things coaches do. With football and the obligations that you have. That it'll be nice to have some of those moments.
Well, Dustin, I just want to say thank you to you for always welcoming me out there to your program when I came out to cover you guys. It was one of my favorite places to go here in Tucson and in the years that I've been doing this. So you ran a great shop up there, and I thank you for that.
Appreciate it, brother, and I appreciate the support and always having me on and just asking me about anything in Tucson football. And I'm excited to do other things in Tucson that involves youth football as well. So excited about the future, but thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, Dustin Peace. He is now the former head coach, a two-time state champion head coach at Canyon Del Oro High School, and we appreciate him joining us today. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collision occurred on I-10 east of Keno Parkway. It's off in the median, but we're seeing slowdowns for both directions of traffic on I-10 near Keno Parkway. On our surface streets, reported wrecks, Nogales Highway and Hermans Road, Grant and Rosemont, Nogales Highway and Drexel, and also Country Club north of 22nd Street. Crash on Catalina Highway, milepost 9. Clear skies, 34 the overnight low, sunny 61 tomorrow, rain and wind on Thursday, and 51 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. At Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance, you can save up to 60% on select mattresses. Plus, score a free adjustable base on qualifying purchases. Here's to better sleep in 2024. The right mattress matters, and Mattress Firm will find yours.
Do you need your home repiped? Having trouble with your water heater? Leaking toilet? Have you ever thought about an instant recorded seweroscopy? Then call Economy Plumbing Service at 885-3510. Because if water goes through it or to it, we do it. Economy Plumbing, 885-3510. Cactus RV and Marine off the I-10 frontage road north of Ruthroff. Or visit cactusrv.com.
Hey, Eugene, what's with the giant pile of scratcher tickets?
Just my next greatest idea ever.
Playing the lottery?
That's right, Doug. With all my winnings, I can enroll in the UberTube car repair classes and finally fix your car right. No more disasters, Doug. Your luck is about to change.
Well, then keep on scratching, Eugene.
Good luck, Eugene. But if you need a sure thing in automotive repair or for your next set of tires, check out Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
You know, we've guaranteed our tires in every auto repair since 1960.
With more than 35 Top Shop awards and our Partners Network 3-year nationwide warranty, you can count on Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care.
And check out this month's special savings.
Pay with your Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care card and get $66 back. And check out the full page of promotions, discounts, and coupons at jackfurriers.com.
So call ahead and make an appointment online or just stop by any of our 14 area locations.
Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
License 240693.
Guys, I want to share Alaskan AC's 1-year guarantee.
Yeah.
It's a big deal, a 1-year guarantee.
Doesn't everyone have something like that?
Sure, but they keep your money. We give money back.
Oh. Wow. Can we say that?
Yes, like this. When Alaskan AC installs a new system, it's guaranteed for a whole year or your money back. We'll either fix it to make it work, or we'll hand you back all of your money.
This really makes other AC companies seem kinda lame? That's the word.
Another polar bear promise.
A whole year. If your AC system isn't performing like it should on day 363,
we make it right or give you back all of your money right down to the penny.
Call an Alaskan. No, call everyone else first. See if they'll put their money on the line.
They won't, because at Alaskan AC, we believe if we can't satisfy you,
we don't deserve your business. And that's a polar bear promise.
Guaranteed. Every day at AlaskanAC.com.
You want to protect her. You'll give anything to make sure nothing harms her. Every minute together makes unforgettable memories. Except that time you parked her under that tree and...
Oh, come on, man. Really?
Sorry, we'll never speak of it again. But remember who came to her rescue? Recon Auto Detailing. Arizona's premier auto detailing company comes directly to you. We'll make your masterpiece shine like it should, and with a monthly maintenance package, we'll keep it that way. Recon Auto Detailing. Online at recondetail.com.
Wildcats Radio 1290 has been through all the ups.
Throwing deep, downfield, and that ball is caught. That's a one-handed catch by T-Mac. How does he do this? What a catch!
And the downs.
Picked off. I don't believe it. The third interception.
1290 is always there by your side to bring you all the raw emotion of the moments that matter to Wildcats fans. We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Well, it's that time of year. You dress the kids up for the holiday parties, and they hate it. You dress everybody up for the annual holiday card picture, and, well, everybody hates that. You even dress the turkey, and we're pretty sure he's not happy about that. This year, dress up your yard in time for the holidays. Call Dorado Rockin' Materials, and we promise there will be no complaints. Make your yard beautiful and worry-free with their personal service and convenient delivery times. Dorado Rockin' Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We expect to be talking to the athletics director of the University of Arizona, Dave Heeke, here momentarily, as the Wildcats basketball teams will both be on the road this week. The men will head up to Washington State to take on the Cougars. They'll play just one game this week. That'll be Saturday. The ladies, on the other hand, will be up in the Oregon State this week, I should say. They'll take on the Beavers on Friday night and then play the Ducks in Eugene on Sunday. We will carry all three of those games for you right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Let's talk to the athletics director at the University of Arizona. His name is Dave Heeke. Dave, Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. Great to be with you.
Absolutely. So tell us.
We've kind of rung in the new year the right way.
Absolutely. Tell us about the Alamo Bowl, Dave. We want to hear all about it.
Well, awesome trip. Great opportunity for our football program, obviously, and a big win to cap it all off. But it was a tremendous reward for our program going into that, playing a team like Oklahoma, a storied program in the history of college football, and then to come away with a win, tremendous. But in the meantime, lots of great activities, opportunities for the players, coaches to enjoy themselves and also feel rewarded for what they accomplished during the year. San Antonio was just incredibly hospitable, rolled out the red carpet. It was just a great time there. The Riverwalk, the town, the city handles large events and certainly large sporting events so well. Mm-hmm. So it was just a lot of fun, and from the pep rallies to the activities that the team got to take part in, to the actual game. They host an outstanding bowl. It by many rankings is the best bowl outside of that New Year's Six Bowl, those big bowls that are out there. Had the largest crowd, and they just run it so professionally. It's just an excellent bowl game.
David, what's it like for you when you're sitting there? And obviously we watched it, and everybody was kind of starting to think, well, maybe this is not going to happen when you're down 24-13 and Oklahoma's driving, and then you watch your team make a big play like that. What's that like for you to kind of watch that fourth quarter materialize for that program?
Well, it's nerve-wracking, certainly. We're all in it. We want to win. There's a lot of pressure. I think it also just shows, hey, momentum is an amazing thing, mm-hmm. especially in bowl games. I don't think it's magnified. It's magnified so much in bowl games. The swings that go on are incredible. I think we saw it all bowl season. But big plays happen. You just got to find your way into a big play, and it turns the table, and you start running downhill real quick, and that's kind of what happened. And so I was really proud of our team and the way they hung with it. And again, it teaches you, hey, just play every play. Just play every play. If you would have given up on the last play and thought you had lost, like maybe many did at some point and thought it was going the wrong way, just keep playing every play because something good can happen, and that's what happened. And again, our players did a great job, and our coaches really did a terrific job preparing the team.
Dave, obviously you have I don't know that you can tell me the exact number of student athletes that are in the university. I would imagine it's 500 plus. But do you try, as the athletic director, do you try to at least have one connection with each of those kids during the time that they're there? Is there a process that an athletic director goes through to try to say, okay, I just want to make sure that I at least touch, meet, and have some type of interaction with every single kid that's coming through this program at least, once and maybe even twice during the time that they're on this campus involved in this department?
Well, yeah, we've got about 500 student athletes, and that's not an easy thing to do. Yeah. But just like I just walked up from our mid-year student athlete orientation. So all of those new incoming student athletes that came at mid-year are here today going through a full day of exercises of kind of onboarding, learning about the services we have to provide, and it gives me an opportunity to get in front of them for 5-10 minutes. So at least they see my face. I'm pretty interactive. Again, I believe in our program. I believe in student athletes. I'm a real college model person. Again, I've talked about with you before about this. I was a student athlete. I have 2 sons that were student athletes. I've been in the business a long time. I was a coach at one point, and thought really that's what I wanted to do. So I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about the experience that our students have and our student athletes especially have. And so I try to be visible, try to be interacting with them, whatever that may be. I go to events. I go down and meet and greet and do all of the things that you might think that an athletic director would try to do. I would like to have a personal relationship with all 500 of them. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
But I want them to know that I am there to support them, that I'm advocating for them, that I've got an open door to listen to their concerns or their frustrations, and at the same time, I'm always open to their suggestions and what they think. And also, hey, I hope you'll come in and say that it was an experience or I'm having a great time here too. So those are the ways I do that. It's just a very organic. There's nothing prescribed. I don't check boxes. I think it's just a real organic, genuine way that I try to go about my days and my weeks and the events and the times that I'm around our student athletes. But we have a number of events, awards and our CATSEs, our different things that go on, the awards, banquets, all the ways that I can interact with student athletes.
Dave Heeke is our guest. He's the athletics director at the University of Arizona. Dave, you mentioned the mid-year orientation that took place today, and we are seeing, I think, especially on the football side, and I'll ask you if this is happening in a number of the other fall programs, but we're seeing a lot of more early enrollees now than maybe we did, say, 5 or 6 years ago, where kids they're going to be competing, whether it's football in the fall or maybe soccer or volleyball, are starting their college lives in January ahead of the fall, where normally in the past they would have come in during the summertime. What do you think has led to that trend?
That's a great question. I think many very highly competitive individuals, their chance to get on campus, their chance to become engaged with the program, get a little bit ahead on academics, get into the rhythm and the sync of the program so that they can work out, get stronger, faster. They can sometimes, like in football, go through spring practice and be prepared, be that much further ahead by the time they get to next fall's camp. A chance to go through that spring, and then also the summer conditioning and workouts that we have, for instance, like in football. So I think that lends towards early onboarding. You can get yourself into the rhythm and into the step of the way the program goes. And many of our student athletes, our young student athletes want to do that. They want to get engaged as quick as they can. So it's a little bit different, and I think for some it's an easier transition than others. That's a big jump to come from mid-year in your senior year of high school to I didn't turn my cell phone off here, so I've got it. But the mid-year of high school, and then go right into college, and then go right into the conditioning or the spring practice. It's a big jump. So you've got to make sure that they can do all that and handle the academic load as well. So, but again, that is a trend that you see much more today than you did, 5, 10, or certainly 20 years ago.
Dave, the perfect storm this past weekend, we got 4 straight nights of college basketball at McHale Center. That doesn't happen very often. I think there's one more weekend where we get 3 nights on the same weekend, and then there's one day I saw where there's going to be a doubleheader, which I don't remember the last time there was a men's and women's doubleheader on the same day. I believe that's in early March as well. What are some of the positives and challenges of that, of having 4 straight nights of games? I thought it was awesome to be able to go down there for 4 nights in a row.
Yeah, no, I think it's a terrific environment. You can kind of come back and see the teams night after night. Provides a great experience. It's challenging from an event management, a game management, our staff. It's the same people working each night. So remember, those people, they not only work the evening shift, but they come back in at 8 o'clock in the morning and work the full day shift too. So it's a little bit taxing on our staff, and we want to make sure we're putting together the best events for our guests, our fans that come in. But it's certainly exciting, and in a way, you're able to knock that off. And then this week, we're pretty quiet. We've got a road game, and otherwise we're pretty quiet this week. So everybody can catch their breath, and I encourage our team that, hey, don't stick around here until 7 or 8 o'clock at night, because it's easy to do in our business, is to sit here around in the offices. Get home, enjoy a week, get to dinner at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, see your spouse or your family or those you care about, because it kind of comes in waves. And that, we've had more of that this year. We had a couple last year. We've had much more of it this year. And it will be totally different next year when you think about our winter sports, especially the basketballs in the Big 12. They play on multiple nights. There's not traveling partners. There's not a consistent Thursday, Saturday, or, Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday, Sunday, or Friday, Sunday for the women. It is almost, they basically play 5, sometimes 6 different nights of the week.
Wow.
And so a lot of one-offs. So there isn't that rhythm or consistency about it. So a little bit more maybe like you're in an NBA franchise or a pro baseball franchise where the games just keep coming at you that way. So that'll be different for our fans. It'll be a little bit different for our staff. So good things and also challenges, but that's what we're in it for. And it's nothing better than turning on the lights and having great nights in McHale or in Arizona Stadium or in any of our venues when our student athletes compete.
Yeah, Dave, I'm glad you brought that up because that's what maybe the biggest question that we always get asked is what the format for basketball is going to be next season in the Big 12. So it's definitely not going to be that structured travel partner Thursday, Saturday kind of thing that we've seen in our lives for pretty much all of it in the Pac-12. Was there talk of that? Was that something that the Pac-12 teams coming in to pitch that idea at all? How did that conversation go?
Well, yeah, I think we were very intrigued with how we could schedule with a little bit more continuity, to help defray expenses, be reasonable for our student athletes, have some rhythm or some consistency to their travel schedules, their academic schedules. That's been a tradition, though, in really not only the Big 12, but in the Big 10. They're playing on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Wednesdays. They sometimes they're playing on Sundays. It's all over the map. So I think I encourage fans just follow the Big 12 a little bit. Turn on Monday and Tuesday. They're on every night. So that's the tradition. That's what their broadcast partners have designed for them. And in this day and age, David, we've talked about it. I know our fans have heard this, and I'm not saying it's the best thing, but those schedules are really dictated by media companies, by the networks. And, for the rights fees that they pay, they have strong influence on your game times and your game schedules. And so we try to manage that appropriately, but that's the reality of it. And in the Big 12, they have a lot of different nights that they're on, their different platforms, whether that's Fox or ESPN or their own conference network.
And tennis and gymnastics get going this weekend.
Hey, we roll. We've got it going. Gymnastics is headed out to Utah on the 12th for their event. Our men's tennis team opens here in Tucson against UC San Diego. The women are here as well. Are up in Phoenix. Excuse me. I think they're up in Phoenix, if I remember correctly. And so, yeah, the tennis thing starts, and golf is right there. It's about to start. We're not too far away from baseball and softball either, so it's really ramping up.
Good stuff. Hey, Dave, as always, any final message for Wildcat Nation for this first conversation of 2024?
Well, Happy New Year to everyone. And as we say in the athletics business and certainly in college athletics, we're at the mid-year point. So we've just put a part of our season to bed, and it's been a really exciting one. And congratulations to our football program. Now it's time to turn our sights on certainly our basketball programs, but all of our other programs that will go forward. And I think it's going to be a really fun winter and spring. So let's get out there and enjoy it and cheer on these great student athletes.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity to cheer on the women's basketball team this past weekend. 2 awesome games.
Wasn't that something?
Especially
wow,
the game Sunday that ended in a win.
Yeah, good stuff. And the crowd played a huge role in both of those ball games.
Yeah, I like the flashing lights on Friday night. That was a nice touch. I'm sure you had a big hand in that, Dave.
We got a great team that comes up with really good ideas and puts that together. But
you just
I don't know. We had to flash the lights to keep everybody awake. That was our last event of the weekend. So.
There you go. Absolutely. Dave, hey, we appreciate you joining us. We look forward to your continued visits every Tuesday at 4:40 throughout the rest of the spring.
You bet. Thanks for having me. Bear down, go Cats.
Dave Heeke, he is the athletics director here at the University of Arizona. You can hear him on Tuesdays right here, Wildcats Radio, 1290. Cricket, take us home with the traffic.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported River Road and La Cholla, Country Club north of 22nd Street, Nogales Highway and Drexel, Rosemont and Grant with eastbound restrictions on Grant near Rosemont, Nogales Highway and Hermans Road, Catalina Highway, milepost 9. Also a wreck that occurred on I-10 east of Keno Parkway off in the median, but slowdowns both directions of traffic on I-10 near Keno Parkway. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print Big Sale means the more you print, the more you save. Get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. Ends 2/10/24. See staples.com/print for details. Print more, save more at Staples.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. Michigan man, today is for you. You did it. Now, Michigan man, you always believe everything is all about you. Well, for once, you were exactly right. The college football season actually was all about you. From that first 3-game suspension for Jim Harbaugh to the second 3-game suspension for Jim Harbaugh, all the way through Jim Harbaugh being up on that podium last night, sitting next to the CFP trophy, proclaiming his innocence. Hey, listen, I've been calling it the magical season of scandal for months. But I have to admit, in the end, it was just as magical as it was scandalous. I will not take anything away from this team because they clearly were the best team in the country this season. They earned that. The reality is, those stolen signals were not the difference in the game last night. The reality is, Michigan did open up a whole can of whoop ass on the Huskies. Say, for the ones who get it done, Grainger is offering high-quality supplies and solutions for every single industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and the experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facilities safe and your people even safer. So, call, click, Grainger.com, or just stop on by. Grainger.com.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, buck there. Here a buck, there a buck, everywhere buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
This season, the Cats will take on the Bruins, the Ducks, the Trojans, the Beavers.
President Livingstone, Mac Rhodes, all donors, they were family, and everyone's made it possible.
You know, walking in here, it's a surreal feeling. I mean, all the blood, sweat, and tears, that's so
industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-909-4747, 800-909-4747, 800-909-4747.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Nothing slows my little girl down, except a stuffy nose.
Mommy.
That's why I use Sinex Children's Saline from Vicks. Sinex instantly clears mucus in everyday stuffy little noses with a gentle, ultra-fine mist designed for kids. Just Sinex? Breathe. Her stuffy nose is gone for now. And so is she.
Sinex Children's Saline. Sinex, breathe. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Attention Tucson. Remember, if it's game day and the Wildcats are taking the floor, you can count on 1290 to bring you all the play-by-play action, the biggest pre- and post-game show in the Pac-12. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients. Don't pay for water. Pay for clean.
Save $10 when you spend $30 on Tide and Downy. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent. Must buy at least one participating Tide or Dreft detergent item, plus at least one participating Downy and or Bounce scent booster, liquid fabric softener, or dryer sheets. Prepaid card by mail. Visit pglaundryrebate.com for terms and conditions.
Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left
Again,
lane.
just 8 of 42 on Saturday.
Go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Oh, there goes my wayward camera again. Just follows me all around the room. Technology, electric cameras. I get up and the camera just gets up with me.
I just like to think the camera wants to know what's going on the other side of the room.
Apparently it does. It's like I said, that's why AJ turns it off all the time. He's like, I don't want that thing looking at me when I'm just sitting here trying to do my job.
Well, you don't know who could be watching.
You're right.
If the light's on.
Who knows really what's on the other side of this camera, right? I mean, it could the CIA could be watching us do this show right now.
It's pretty common for people of the age of, I would say under 35 or so, to cover the cameras, like on your laptop, to put like a piece of tape or whatever.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, I guess they don't have the button that just closes it, but they don't even trust that, huh?
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. Trust is hard to come by, I think, for some people.
Right. Exactly. All right, we were talking earlier with Matt Reynoldson from News 4 Tucson. He is a huge Suns fan. Well, the Suns are not playing very good basketball right now. They got blown out. Well, I don't know, blown out, but they lost to the Clippers at home. I'm sorry, they lost to the Grizzlies at home on Sunday night. And then a back-to-back.
Grizzlies, that is.
Ja Morant, who is now...
this was before, but he didn't play in that game either.
Yeah, and now it's been announced that Ja is out for the season with his injured shoulder. And so he will not... So he missed... He was suspended for, what was it, 25 games to start the year?
Yes, 25.
So he played in, what, maybe 10? If that many?
Yeah, maybe 10, yeah.
Yeah, and now he's going to be out for the season. So then the Grizzlies had actually been playing pretty well since he came back.
That's a solid core, and they got a really good core there. And Ja obviously makes everything go. They struggled to start the year this year, but yeah, I mean they're not anywhere close to a contender in the West without Ja Morant.
No. So last night was the second night of a back-to-back. The Suns go on the road to L.A., and they lose. They'd lost to the Clippers about a week ago, and they lose again. Very balanced night for the Clippers. They had 6 players in double figures, all 5 of their starters, and also they had Norman Powell off the bench scoring double figures. 30 points on the night for Kevin Durant. The big 3 played in this game. Durant had 30, Booker had 20, Beal had 15. But the only other player that scored in double figures was Eric Gordon, and they lose by 27 points on the road. Afterward, Kevin Durant talking about the current state of the Suns. They are 19-18 on the season.
Yeah, I mean, they got some great scorers over there, great penetrators, guys that can create for others as well. They got a good bench. You got Russ coming off playing well, Norman Powell playing good ball. So, yeah, they make shots. It's a make or miss lead. They've been shooting the ball well from the 3. We finally got more three-point attempts up than our team, more three-point attempts up than our opponent, but they just made more tonight. They had it clicking.
Curious, just, at one point, I think it was in the fourth quarter, I think it was 4 straight turnovers. I think you guys were down 7. How huge was that stretch there where you guys could have got it? Could have got it even closer.
Yeah, man, it's huge. You can't. It's tough to overcome those, and especially on the road, the home crowd gets into it. Guys get out in fast break, get easy points, they get more confident, and that usually turns the game for you.
Curious, obviously it's just 6 games, and Coach said, a little further along with their cohesion than you guys. But how are you feeling just about the whole idea of that part of this team right now, trying to find that cohesion.
Yeah, we just keep grinding, man. That's all I'm about. Come back to work the next day, keep figuring it out.
Kevin, I know logistics probably played a role in how the fourth quarter went, how the game went at the end, but I know the fourth quarters have been a real challenge for this team, even though first three quarters you guys can overwhelm teams. Like, what was a challenge tonight specifically, and in general, what do you feel like has been an issue for this team late in games?
Yeah, I think we started off the quarter well, and then they went on a little flurry there that just kind of, we was already down going into the fourth. So we cut it to 7, and they got momentum, and they went on a flurry and went up 15-16. It's hard to overcome that. So I think that's what's been happening. We just have a bad 2-minute stretch of basketball, and that'll turn the game sometimes for us. We'll be playing well, and then, you know, a couple turnovers here and there, missed shots, and just problems compound themselves and just make for a bigger lead. And, you know, you try to take some positives from every game, negatives from every game to watch and get better from. And we'll continue to keep watching and keep getting better, keep putting in that work, you know, every day for us to be a better team moving forward.
All right, that is Kevin Durant after a 27-point loss last night in Los Angeles to the Clippers. I think the Suns now are off until Thursday or Friday. They play Miami, I believe it is, next. And, again, 19-18 right now, struggling to kind of find that cohesion with the big three. But still plenty of time to find that cohesion and get it going towards the postseason. The Clippers stay one of the hotter teams in the league. They are now 23-13, 10 games above 500. But again, is anybody sold yet on the Clippers? James Harden last night, 19 points. George, 25. Kawhi Leonard at 17. Some good balance there, scoring-wise, on that Clippers ball club.
Yeah, I mean, look, Paul George, you know, people may think of maybe Paul George from his Indiana Pacers days or whatever, pre-injury, jumping all over everybody. But Paul George has really kind of morphed his game, and he's really a lot of mid-range stuff. And he is about as aggressive a scorer as there is in the NBA these days. And he's every bit of 6'9", 6'10". He has every angle on every shot. One of the, I would say, 5-10 best scorers in the NBA. So you add him to a healthy Kawhi and Paul George together, and those two guys alone. But when Harden gets back into shape, it's just tough to match up with. Easier for those guys, I think, to put it together than the Suns, just because they have a little bit more depth. The Suns kind of got rid of most of their depth, if not all, you know, bringing over Bradley Beal and the KD trade as well. So it's not a matter of just those three guys all getting on the same page. It's about those role players finding their spots and not ball watching, right? Because you obviously are always in a situation with a guy like Kevin Durant on the court, let alone Booker and Beal, that you kind of get lost watching those guys do some magic. And the Suns are just trying to figure that out. New coaching staff this year as well, new system. So it's just taking a little longer to put things together, I think, than some people expected.
Meanwhile, the game of the night on Monday night was in Indiana, involved a fabulous performance by a guy that you know very well.
Again, just 8 of 42 on Saturday.
Ball loose there by Buddy Hield. He popped the three.
Mathurin into the front court. He's going to pull up for 3 and got it.
Splitting the defense, getting to the paint, and delivering a strike. Pacers quickly the other way. Mathurin with a fancy finish. Put some English on it off glass. Pacers back in front.
Dale Jackson has come in. T.J. McConnell. So 5 bench players out there for the Pacers. Mathurin pull up 3. This time it bounces in. Uses backboard and rim.
Yeah, that's where you got to get. And then make a play. Yeah, you got it.
Mathurin off the bench. Kid has 10.
Confident score.
There's Mathurin again. He has a 10-point quarter. Step back 3 deep. Again from Benedict Mathurin.
Well, I think it's put together a terrific team. But the Pacers have to understand who they're playing against. These guys can really make plays and make shots. I think the Pacers have guarded reasonably well.
Mathurin goes inside. He got to the rim easily.
Miles did a terrific job setting the screen. Walked up for him in the middle.
Pacers down 5. Hield for 3. Got it. Buddy Hield, his first 3. He had just 2 first-half points. Against Porzingis. He's going to step back for 3. Got it!
Oh, what a three. What a bomb that was.
Picks for Boston, Horford, and Holiday have hit some big threes. Here's a three by Mathurin. It's good! Getting back in the action. Half minutes to play, Pacers by 3. Mathurin working again. They come to double it. Inside! Got it! Neesmith from Mathurin!
What a performance by Benedict Mathurin. And then what you didn't see there is Ben hit the final 2 free throws in a 133-131 win by the Pacers over the Boston Celtics. Benedict Mathurin in 29 minutes, 26 points on 8 of 15 from the floor, led the Pacers with 5 of 9 3-pointers. He had 3 assists as well. The Pacers, 21-15, playing like they mean business in the Eastern Conference.
The big story out of that game was in the second quarter, everything guard, Tyrese Halliburton, might as well be the best point guard in the NBA right now. He went down with a really scary injury, got carted off the court. So Ben Mathurin did all of those things in the second, third, and fourth quarters without the team's leader on the court. So it was the first time Ben's really been put into a position like that, DK, against the Celtics, the number 1 team in the East, and they didn't have Tatum last night. So that is a thing. There was some controversy there at the end. A couple of different fouls. Buddy Hield fouled Brown, and they reversed that call. Originally, it was called a foul on Buddy Hield. They said that he did not make contact with his head. And then the Porzingis foul on Mathurin at the very end with about 0.3 on the clock. The NBA, after the fact, referee review system came back, DK, and said both those calls were wrong. So it said that there was not a foul on Porzingis and that the foul on Buddy Hield was incidental. So there's some very unhappy Celtics fans out there today, but Ben Mathurin and TJ McConnell both stepped up big in the absence of Tyrese Halliburton.
12 points and 7 assists for TJ McConnell in 25 minutes. He hit 6 of 12 from the floor. Got to be ready. Again, we've talked about TJ. Wasn't anticipated he was going to see a lot of minutes this year, but now there's been a multiple injuries at that point guard position for the Pacers, and you got to be ready. And TJ's always going to be ready. You don't have to worry about him being ready to step in and go to work. That is what he has done his entire career, and much of that in college as well, what we saw here. Let's hear from Bennett. Is it who we're hearing from here?
Well, you're talking about TJ. I got some comments from Mathurin and Andrew Nemhard, who both had some thoughts after the game on TJ McConnell.
TJ obviously seems to come up big in these moments, but how important was he today? The energy, obviously, a big bucket late. Just how big was he all the way around to keep you guys in this?
It was great. I mean, obviously having TJ, just him being a dog, and having big plays like that raises the energy not only for the fans but for the whole team. So it was great to see seeing TJ out there being TJ.
Yeah, TJ always gonna be TJ. Like, we always know what he brings to the table, and he never disappoints.
He's a dog and a winner. I think that fits.
Yeah, I don't know if the highlight was on there, but he had a spin move with about a minute left in the game, or under a minute left in that game, and scored in traffic over the top of a person who was 8 inches taller than him, DK. So it wasn't just him finding guys in the lane with his assist. TJ was really aggressive. Andrew Nemhard, I'm not sure if he's still out, but he's had an injury for a while. That would be the backup for Tyrese. So obviously TJ is always ready to go when needed.
All right, 520-848-1290 is the number to get on the program. Short show today. We're going to 5:30. Adia Barnes from the Sands Club is coming your way at 5:30, talking some Arizona women's basketball. Her and Derek Palmer, and I understand Helena Puello will be the special guest at the Sands Club tonight. Getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions that are clearing, eastbound Grant Road at Rosemont, Catalina Highway milepost 9, Nogales Highway in Drexel, also River Road in La Jolla. Earlier crash occurred I-10 east of Keno Parkway in the median. Some slowing for both directions of traffic on I-10 near Keno Parkway, westbound Ajo Way at Mission for backups. 34 the overnight low, sunny 61 tomorrow, rain and wind on Thursday, and 50 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, they'll help you with any air conditioning, drain, or pipe issues. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected AC and plumbing experts anytime at coolwillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's coolwillies.com.
Hi, I'm Alex Medina, new owner of Oro Ford. Everybody's talking about it. It's my 2+2 guarantee. 2% lower taxes, plus I'll beat any new Ford deal in town by 2%.
Oro Ford, where 2+2 equals Ford.
Economy Plumbing Service. If water goes through it or to it, we do it. 885-3510.
What makes 1290 different than any other radio station in Tucson? 1290 is the home of the Arizona Wildcats, the NFL, and the Super Bowl. Winner. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles, with an auto warranty about to expire, or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost, month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-736-6158 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-736-6158. That's 800-736-6158. What do you have to lose? Call 800-736-6158. Again, 800-736-6158.
How wrestling really works and how you get the ratings. Eric Bischoff and Conrad Thompson explain on 83 Weeks.
I mean, I dig Jey Uso because he's born out of great storytelling, and he lived up to the opportunity and exceeded it. The LA Knight, he's way up on my list because here's a guy that's been around for almost ever, should have probably quit a half a dozen times, and he just forced his way into their life, and now he's making money hand over fist. That is a story I love.
83 Weeks on YouTube or wherever you listen.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-216-9922. That's 1-800-216-9922. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-216-9922. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Well, it's the first part of a new year, and some people are coming up with some pretty interesting New Year's resolutions.
I'm taking karate classes.
Hey, wait just a minute.
Let's get something really stupid tattooed on our butt.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why not make your New Year's resolution to always save up to 40% on your favorite tobacco products at Tobacco Barn? You'll not only save up to 40%, but there's also no city or state sales tax at Tobacco Barn because they're on the reservation.
I'm getting married to the first girl I meet. Hey there, sweetheart.
And you can save up to another $3 with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
Let's try parachuting. Geronimo!
So save up to 40%, save with no city or state sales tax, and save up to another $3 with a coupon at TobaccoBarnTucson.com. But maybe skip the skydiving. Tobacco Barn, Nogales Highway, just south of Valencia. Check TobaccoBarnTucson.com.
For all the latest news from Arizona Stadium, McHale Center, and High Corbin Field, make sure to like us on Facebook at Wildcats 1290. This is the exclusive home of Arizona Athletics. Wildcats Radio 1290.
You can make the decision right now to get lasting relief from that awful joint pain for 2024. Don't go another year compromising because of that pain in your knee or your shoulder. Call QC Kinetics now. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative non-surgical pain relief. Your body, it has what it needs to restore and repair that damaged joint tissue, and QC Kinetics can make it happen. No drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. The future of pain treatment has arrived, and QC has tens of thousands of satisfied patients all over America. People with back pain, hip pain, any pain associated with arthritis or any injury. This is not a Band-Aid, folks. This is a revolutionary treatment that can get you moving again, get your life back. And listen, it's non-surgical. This is the year you decide to fight back against that pain. Take the first step. Call QC Kinetics. Get a free consultation on your calendar. There's 2 locations. One of them is off of Academy. The other is off of Orange Grove. Call QC Kinetics now, 520-497-4955. QC Kinetics. Give them a call, 520-497-4955.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
What's the first thing you want to do with your wife that you maybe wouldn't have been able to do because you were coaching high school football?
Oh, she always says, we have an RV. We have this beautiful RV, Class A 30-footer, and it gets put on the shelf for 6 months. So we can't wait for a fall break trip. Never in my life have I thought a fall break trip. So we're gonna have a fall break trip. So that'll be fun. And you're right. That you get to thinking about all the things that you don't get to do because football. We scheduled our marriage around football. There's so many things coaches do, with football and the obligations that you have. That it'll be nice to have some of those moments.
Well, Dustin, I just want to say thank you to you for always welcoming me out there to your program when I came out to cover you guys. It was one of my favorite places to go here in Tucson and in the years that I've been doing this. So you ran a great shop up there, and I thank you for that.
Appreciate it, brother, and I appreciate the support and always having me on and just asking me about anything in Tucson football. And I'm excited to do other things in Tucson that involves youth football as well. So excited about the future. But thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
That was our conversation with Dustin Peace, who has stepped down as the head football coach at Canyon Del Oro High School, the Dorados, after winning a state championship in Conference 4A this past year. In fact, let's do our prep report for today. Before we get out of here at the bottom of the hour, I want to tell you about some games that happened last night on the basketball and soccer fields. How about Pueblo, the girls basketball team? They continue to roll 62-30 last night over CDO. America Cazares scored 28 points, becoming the 6th Warrior to score over 1,000 points for her career. She is a former prep princess, so congratulations to America Cazares. Another former prep princess had a big night. Megan Callahan over at St. Augustine's, 24 points and 7 steals as St. Augustine knocked off Sequoia Pathway. Here we go, J-Dub, again, another single-digit score. 69-9 was the final. St. Augustine beat Sequoia Pathway. That was not our only basketball single-digit score of the night. Unfortunately, it did not go well for the Santa Rita boys. They lost 60-9 to the Pima Rough Riders last night. A lot of struggles over at Santa Rita. Also, the boys soccer team lost big yesterday, 20-0, unfortunately, for the Eagles on the soccer field at Santa Rita. Elsewhere, girls basketball, Rio Rico knocked off Am5 52-43. Flowing Wells beat Saguaro 64-61. Cassandra Coolidge, 29 points in that ball game. And that is the games that we had last night. Now, tonight in Tucson, the game of the night, Cienega is boys basketball, Cienega at 11-5 is on the road at Choya. Choya, the Chargers led by Cyree Jenkins, who is averaging 22 points per ball game this year. And also boys soccer. This was actually a score from last night. Palo Verde knocked off Andrada Polytechnical 10-0. Andrada is the Life Skills High School that is out on Houghton Road. Also, girls soccer tonight. Catalina Foothills at 5-1 will visit Cienega. The Bobcats are 6-2-1. Let's get you your Arizona Insider real quick before we get out of here.
It's the 5 o'clock hour, and it's time for your Arizona Insiders.
Oh, sweet.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions of U of A basketball. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Arizona basketball. Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
Gilbert has it at the logo. 12 seconds with a high dribble, being forced away from the action by Young. 10 seconds. Here comes Cunningham with the screen. 7 seconds. She goes away from it. Going into the teeth of the defense. Puts it off the glass. It's not good. Again, no whistle. She's going to put that one up, and a foul is called. After she fought for the offensive rebound, a foul is called on Young. That's her fifth.
Kaylin Gilbert fouled on the way to the basket, made 2 free throws to beat Utah, and afterward talked about it.
I mean, I was nervous going up to the line, but this is the times that I work for, so I knew I was going to make both of them.
At the end of regulation, you had a shot to win it, and it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you were...
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
All right, that's your Arizona Insider, Kaylin Gilbert. Hear more Arizona women's basketball. The Adia Barnes Show is next. Helena Puello is the guest of honor. For J-Dub, Cricket, Matt Reynoldson, Dustin Peace, I'm David Kelly. We'll talk to you tomorrow, folks. Have a great evening.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the